Welcome back to another episode of Metal Verbalizers podcast. This podcast is for you that want to discover new fantastic metal. We feel that there aren't enough podcasts that support the underground scene. That is why the whole purpose of this podcast is to find new and or smaller bands and tell you about them. In this episode, it is time to go back to my roots when it comes to music. I've found a ton of fantastic music since we started this journey, but there is one genre that I just can't get enough of. That is genuine, good old, high-octane, blues-driven hard rock. I've got the perfect band for you that is just that. You can never go wrong with some rock and roll, so in this episode I bring you Ratchet Dolls. Alright, so now we're sitting here with two of the members from Ratchet Dolls. So welcome to the podcast, guys, and why don't we start with introducing yourselves a little bit.
Okay, thank you for having us. I'm Sophie. I play guitar, do a little bit of backups, but mostly just guitar, and that is my role.
I'm Kevin. I've been the original member from the band since 2014. I sing and I play guitar, and Sophie and I are the songwriters in the band.
All right, cool. Something that I like to start by asking before we go into the actual band is like, why did you become musicians? Was it like from a parent or in the family, or is it just by yourself, your own idea?
Yeah, go ahead.
For me personally, there was definitely encouragement from my parents. My dad had a little bit of a background in music, and I know he wanted me to learn a skill and try and get good at something. And he would encourage me in all kinds of things, and I took a liking to music. And so he bought me my first guitar when I was like 12. And I started playing, and he realized that I actually really wanted to do it, and I was very serious about it. So then it just kind of built up from there, and I realized how much I connected with the music that I wanted to play, you know, like the hard rock from the 80s and the 70s and all that. And I just really knew that I felt right when I was doing that. So that's how I started.
Awesome.
I think 12 years old is kind of the sweet spot for a lot of people now that I think about it, but I actually started around that time too. Yeah. I used to be like a little skater guy, but I realized very quickly that it wasn't going to be my thing because I broke my rib, and I got scared and I never wanted to do it again. So I picked up the guitar at 12 after hearing my favorite band, actually, these guys right here. So I was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and they were on the soundtrack, and I heard Lick It Up for the first time. And I was like, it was that moment that I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And then they have Rock and Roll All Night, and I heard Ace Frehley wailing on guitar, and I was like, I need to learn to do that. So my brother got me into it. He got me my first guitar, and yeah, man, it was just uphill from there.
Yeah. I just love these origin stories of where everything like started, because it is just different every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go into the band a little bit. When was the band started?
The band officially started back in 2014, but prior to that, the original members of the band, we were called The Skeptic. Okay. And The Skeptic had been around for a number of years. We kind of toured the Texas circuit for a little bit, but it was a completely different sound, completely different songs. Everything was different. But we got hit with a signed band with the same name. They approached us and they were like, hey, we got signed. You have to change your name. They had lawyers with the label and all that. So we didn't have a choice. So we let go of The Skeptic, and we bounced ideas back and forth until finally I decided, you know what, let's just call it this. And it was Ratchet Dolls. What it means at the moment, it's whatever you want it to be, really, because we just named the band that out of necessity. We had a tour lined up, we had new music coming out, and we just needed a brand. And so we landed on that. The guys liked it. The management at the time liked it. And thankfully, it's worked in our favor all these years. I mean, that was back in 2014, and finally I moved to San Antonio, and that's when things started to pick up. I forget what year that was. Do you remember, Sophie?
I think you moved at the beginning of 2021, like right before you met me.
Yeah, so it was a very rough start early on. So from 2014 to 2021, we had a very hard time getting some traction because we were from statistically the poorest city in America. It's a little place called Brownsville, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and there is no music scene there. It's very Hispanic based, so there's a lot of Mexican musicians down there. So that's kind of what hits there. But rock and roll, there's a lot of talent, but sadly it's so separated from the rest of the world that it just took forever for us to hit the ground running. Finally, when I moved to San Antonio and Sophie joined the band, is when we actually started doing a lot more. And we've been very active ever since. We tour consistently, just about 70 shows a year, sometimes even more than that. And we love
That's
it.
good.
Yeah, we love what we do.
Yeah. I think that sounds great. With 70 shows a year, that's crazy.
Yeah, we
We
try
try
to
to
be.
stay busy.
Yeah. But are you guys just touring the US, or are you touring like Europe and stuff as well?
We're looking to go abroad this year. We have a couple places in mind. We don't want to say just yet because we want to keep some suspense, but
Awesome.
there's a lot of places that we would absolutely love to hit as soon as we can outside of the US.
Sounds great.
Oh yeah, everything from Europe to Asia, everywhere. I mean, there really is no limit for us. We're willing to go anywhere where people would like to see us, and we've gotten a lot of very, very kind messages throughout the years. You know, from Mexico, from Canada, from Sweden. We've gotten quite a few from Sweden.
Awesome.
Yeah, all over the place. It's really just a matter of us partnering with the right promoters and the right team, and then we can make it happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Most
But
recently, we were on the road all over the U.S. We did a tour with some guys from the '80s. You might have heard from their Faster Pussycat. And
right.
yeah, so we were on the road with them. We did a few shows with them, and then we did a lot of them on our own. And it was just a blast, man. I mean, it opened so many doors for us. And after we did that, is when we started getting a lot of calls from from abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I might be able. You really play that, to me at least, airborne-esque, energized hard rock music, and I might be able to guess one of the influences at least. But what kind of influences are influencing your music?
I think as a band, we each have different influences, but from the same eras. You want to tell them yours, Sophie?
Well, I was in another band before I joined this one. And a lot of what I gear towards, I guess, is like more 70s Southern rock. And that's what my first band kind of did. And when I met Kevin, they had more of like the 80s hard rock sound. They were a little bit modern and they had a little bit edgier, I guess, darker sound than what I was coming up with. And so now that we've joined together and Kevin and I are bouncing ideas off of each other, there's like this really interesting mix of both. And it's been really fun collaborating because we both love sharing our riffs and ideas. And even though I'm more influenced from Southern rock, I do love 80s too. I love all of it. And he's the same way. He loves the Southern rock too, but his roots are also in 80s. And so we bring our main influences together and we've been creating some cool stuff. We're excited for everyone to hear it.
Sounds great. Yeah, because something that I noticed was like when I listened to your first album and then went over to the next album, it felt like, at least with Hit the Ground, it was a little bit more bluesy even compared to the previous album.
Right.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, 100%. So during the first album, I mean, my influences, just like Sophie, they stem from like everywhere from 70s, 80s, and even some modern rock. But for me personally, I was a huge, huge Kiss fan. You mentioned Airborne. We're both big fans of
Yeah.
Airborne. Love AC/DC, Rose Tattoo, Rat. But she mentioned that the sound was a little bit darker back in the day, and that's because I have a bit of like a punk side to me too. Like I love Turbo Negro. Hank Von Hell was a huge inspiration to me. But yeah, the first album sounded very, very different. At that time, I think the band was still trying to find a fingerprint.
Yeah.
And we were experimenting with everything, trying to throw in all the ideas all at once just to see what would stick. And I think by Bring the Noise, we finally found our sound that was
awesome,
unique enough for us to run with. And I think a lot of people liked it. A lot of people reference, Airborne a lot, with especially what's the name of that song? We wrote it and I don't even know it. It's Loud, Loud, Loud. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that one.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites to play live. But yeah, I mean, albums sound completely different.
It just has that energy. Like it's just like a punch to the face.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it sounds like
that's a good
thank
thing.
You.
But yeah, like I told just before we started recording, I told Sophie about that. I think it was Loud, Loud, Loud. That was the song that I discovered you guys by. I think it was like
on Reels.
I was on Reels and in Instagram, and I found that a part of, at least, of the music video, and that was enough for me to just know that I had to make an episode about you guys.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'm glad you reached out. I really am, because we would love to get more in touch with people over in Sweden, just Europe in general. I feel like you guys appreciate what we play a lot more than our home country, unfortunately.
And that's not that we don't love the US. We really do, but we notice the trend very, very well. Like over there, we see the audiences and the way that they react to rock and roll. Here in the US, there's some sort of bug going around where everybody needs to have their phone out and filming you at all times.
Hey, Pat.
And it's fine, but we like to engage. If you see our live show, we're all over the stage. We run everywhere. And sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Sophie.
I don't even remember what I was saying. My memory is just out the window.
But
yeah, over here in America, there's little niche crowds, like the band that we toured with, Faster Pussycat. They have their cult following, and that's really cool. And we've been having a little trouble with that cult following because people are more inclined to listen to mainstream stuff here. And unfortunately, what we play isn't really mainstream. And so it's hard to get that message out to people unless you have thousands upon thousands of dollars to spend on marketing. Otherwise people won't really give you a second look. It's sad, but it's true. There's some really awesome, amazing people that we've met here that love the band and support us, but there's just not enough. That's why we feel like we've got to branch out, and go to places where it's more popular to love rock.
Yeah, and I think we've reached that point. At least for us, we feel it in our hearts that it's time for us to branch out of the US market and maybe try somewhere like Spain, Argentina, Mexico, Sweden, because we have a lot of friends out there too that we've never had a chance to play for, that we just keep in touch with online. And we've reached the point where we can only tour the US so many times. Don't get me wrong, it's huge, but and there's a lot of ground to cover, but we've done it many times. And as a matter of fact, we're about to announce another tour for this spring and another one for the summer. And so I think it's time for us to, hit new territory for once.
Yeah, we would love to get you guys over here. And like you mentioned Spain as well. Spain is such a good rock and metal audience.
Oh, yeah.
Such a good audience. Back in 2015, I've told this story before. We were visiting Rockfest Barcelona, and it was the craziest festival I've ever been to. And it was a absolutely crazy lineup as well. Bands like Europe, Scorpions, Accept, Judas Priest were there. It was just awesome.
That is a great lineup.
Yeah, and that's just a few of them. Yeah, but like, it was so easy to maneuver in the audience as well, because if you wanted to go like absolutely to the front of the stage. If you bumped into somebody, they were just turning around and like, oh, sorry, come here. And then they were like pushing people out of the way and push you forward.
Wow.
And
yeah, they don't do that here.
No,
Yeah.
not over here in Sweden either.
Oh.
And it was so crazy because it was all ages,
Mhm.
all the way from baby strollers to Walkmans, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, it was everything from pretty much newborn to 1 foot in the grave.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It was awesome to see.
Yeah, I love that. I wish we had those kind of festivals here. And we do. We have rock festivals, and we've played a number of them. We've played like Rocklahoma. We've played Rockfest a few times. We played Rocklahoma like 6 or 7 times. But
awesome.
I feel like out there, like you have Vakken, you have, you know, Sweden Rock, you have, and it's just like there's a niche for that. And the specific genre, and it just blows up over there for some reason.
I've
Over
actually
here,
never visited Sweden Rock, and I just have to go sometime.
You're from Sweden and you've never been to Sweden Rock?
Yeah. I don't know if it is too close or not close enough, or both. I don't really know. But then now the last year I like started a new job and stuff, and so I've just worked and worked.
Well, hopefully we can see you out there sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll plan for it. It'll happen.
But back to the band a little bit. Can you explain a little bit more about the image of the band?
The image.
Something like logos, album art, how you approach being on stage. How do you like visualize the band?
Personally, I see us as very raw. We're just all about having fun with the music, and because that's what rock really is, at least to me, and I know Kevin too. Like, what I love about rock and being an entertainer in rock is that you can be crazy. You're not supposed to be like just standing there being very serious about every note you play. Like, you can run around, you can make mistakes. Like, it's just like a release more than anything. You know what I mean? It's not like playing in an orchestra. You got to just sit there, you know, which I'm sure that's good for some people. But for me, I love being the part of being an entertainer and moving around on stage. I could never be just a studio musician. I love touring. Don't get me wrong, it's rough, and any of us could tell you about that. But I love being on stage and entertaining people, and that's what this band is. We love to put on a great show, because as Kevin mentioned, we love Kiss and all the bands of that era that really just put a lot of effort into production and just entertaining and making it fun. I feel like rock these days is too serious. Everybody's just wearing black and it's super depressing, and this band is not about that. We like to help everybody have a good time. It's like a party vibe. That's kind of what this band is. It's just straight up raw rock and roll. I mean, the cover of our album is literally like an amp. You know what I mean? It's just simple. That's just what we're about.
See, yeah, I agree with her 100%. I mean, I think rock and roll is meant to be dirty, filthy, gritty, you know, in your face. And modern bands, at least over here, we hear the influence in rock and roll, but when you go see their live performances, it's just not up there anymore. People are too stiff, they don't move. And so that the album cover, I mean, I do all the design work for the band. So like the first album, the second album, like all of our flyers. And so I try to run in that direction. Like, okay, this is a rock band. What is more rock and roll than an amplifier on fire?
Yeah.
You get like, and that was my influence behind the album cover, because I was like, okay, we have the sound. When people come out to see us, they know that once we get off stage, I'm gonna be soaking wet and just sweat. Nothing. No, I'm not kidding. My entire body is just filthy by the end of every show. But it's because we put everything into the set. And so the album cover, to me, when I was trying to figure out what to design for it, it was very, very easy, because I was like, you know what? When you come see us live, I want this album cover to show you that it's going to be so loud. It's so in your face that the amps are going to be on fire. And you're just going to want more and more of it. And so I think the album cover really speaks for itself. It's just a rock band in your face, and it's going to be loud.
Yeah. Well, your music is really that kind of music that would get me to lose my license or driving license if I hadn't had cruise control on my car.
And
just because of that awesome energy. You just get so pumped up when you listen to the music, which I love. But yeah.
That's the biggest compliment anybody could ever get. Seriously. No, man, I mean, you come out to the shows and we're not trying to look pretty up there. We're not trying to make sure our hair's perfect. We're up there, we're headbanging, and we look like trash by the end of it.
Thank you.
Well, I mean
Totally
that in a good way, though. I mean that in a good way. I mean, it's just rock and roll, man. Like I said, we see bands that we really, really look forward to finally seeing live. And Sophia and I, it always happens. Like if it's a newer band, like they're up there and they're not moving. And by the end of the set, they look like they just, like they just finished looking at themselves in the mirror and getting their hair all pretty and stuff. And it's like, did you even do anything up there?
Oh, God. That is not the way to play rock and roll.
Yeah.
We get
look at Angus Young, for example.
So, yeah, I mean, she just said it right now. We get pretty violent. I have scars on my face right here. Look, you can probably see it. It's right there. Yeah. So there's been 2 times where Sophie's almost killed me on stage from swinging her guitar around. One time was our very first show with Faster Pussycat. And I was standing at the end of the stage, just doing a solo. I think it was at the end of a song. And she whacked me right behind the head. And we have it on camera. We're just waiting for the right time to show it to people. And I like she hit me in the back of the head, and the stage was so tall I could have fallen and just died right there. But I just kept going. I mean, it's rock and roll. And this one over here was more recent. This scar right here, she hit me right in the eye with her headstock, and I was just like, whatever, let's keep going. And I was bleeding after it. But
oh Jesus Christ, it was that hard.
We had to make a change where we stand on opposite sides of the stage now, because the problem was that he would be going down and I was coming up with the guitar, and I'm not paying attention, I'm just like doing whatever, and it's stupid. The stuff that's happened is so stupid. So now we literally had to switch sides so that there's no way like that he can get in a position where I can hit him again.
It's just rock and roll. You get in the zone and the adrenaline is just pumping, and so I get hit or I pull some of her hair out with my headstock. That's happened before too. But we just keep going because it's like, you're in the moment, you're feeling it, and the adrenaline is there. So might as well, just keep going.
You were going to say something about Angus Young earlier?
Yeah, we're just going to say that we're with that energy and moving on stage. Like, look at Angus Young. He's like, what is he now? Almost 80 or something?
Yeah.
And he still moves like crazy.
Oh,
what is that
I
guy
love him. He's one of my heroes for sure.
Same for me. He is the whole reason to why I play guitar. So I mean, and I started pretty much around that same time as well, 9 to 12.
Yeah,
I think I were
That's
like
when
13.
It hits you.
I think I were like 13 when I started taking a little bit of lessons, but I've been playing on and off since, and I just love it.
What's the name of your band?
I don't have a band right now. I currently I am a bedroom musician.
Oh, I love it, man. I mean, sometimes, there's nothing wrong with being a bedroom musician at all. All the music that you hear is all recorded from where I'm sitting right now. We have a little home studio, and this is where we got all the tones for the entire album, for the new one. What's it called? Bring the noise.
Bring the noise.
Yeah.
I'm perma-fried, guys. I'm perma-fried. You can't come up here to this guy and ask him questions because I hardly ever know the answers. Sophie's the one that keeps me in check. So I apologize in advance.
I wouldn't say perma-fried is the word, but you get the point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, from me hitting you in the face?
Yeah. It's permanent damage. Courtesy of Sophie Abrams.
I guess so.
I love that. Well, I'm quite fried as well because I'm like standing in alcohol fumes all day. So
You're
so
standing in
I'm
queue all day?
yeah. Well, I'm a bartender in a spa at a hotel over here in Sweden, and
Oh,
it's like
Nice.
30 degrees Celsius over there all day. So
what is
Got-
that in Fahrenheit?
oh
Over
Jesus,
here, we're Fahrenheit.
Google.
I I,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I
even
need
know.
fucking Google for that.
I got you. Okay, I got it. That is 86 degrees
Oh Jesus
for
Christ.
us. For
Really?
us. Yeah, that's 86 for us. You said 30 Celsius, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
So
That's
that's
I
hot.
don't know I don't know the exact temperature, but like I'm a Viking. Outside is like freezing temperature right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish we could trade places, man. It's hot in Texas. It's hot and humid.
Well, I would pray if it wouldn't have been for work, I would go over there straight away.
Yeah,
I'm
you
so
might
tired
like
of this
it.
cold.
You might like it.
Yeah,
There's good food here, good Mexican food. That's my
awesome,
favorite part.
Yeah.
awesome. Well, just that's just a huge argument right away. But
Yeah.
yeah, how are you thinking? How about you were talking a little bit about that? You guys are the writers of the music. Is there any like particular themes that you like to write about, and how do you go about writing the music?
So the first two albums were pretty much written by me. Sophie wasn't in the band yet, but she did help on this new album. She helped me out with a couple of things. And actually, we wrote one song that is not on the album that was supposed to be on it.
All right.
And it's going to be on the next one, which we were also already writing. But now that Bring the Noises out, she's been helping me a lot. And again, it's rock and roll, very tongue in cheek. We try to write songs that are, you know, serious but not too much. You know,
Yeah.
I think once you guys hear the new stuff, the true color of the band is going to come out, especially now that I have a co-writer. You know, Sophie's with me now, and she's a great songwriter, man. I mean, I know that in her previous band, it was very rock and roll already, but now we have influences from that side of rock and roll and heavy metal, traditional heavy metal like Saxon and stuff like that. And
those are my favorites.
yeah, yeah. And so in terms of lyrics, though, lyrics to me have always been, you know, secondary. I'm more of the music guy, but Sophie balances it out because she's more of the lyric girl, you know, like, and so now she's helping me write. And so it's a good combination, good chemistry. Like, I'm very excited to show everybody what we have coming up, because I know we just released Bring the Noise, but me personally, I have a goal to have new music, at least now, all the time, because we have our personal studio now. There's really no reason why we shouldn't be writing. You get me? And so I know it took a long time to release Bring the Noise. I mean, if you look at the gap between Damaged and Bring the Noise, it's like almost 10 years, 8 years, something like that. But it's because, again, before Sophie was in the band, the original lineup and all that, we were from a very poor city, Brownsville, Texas, and there's nothing down there. Now it's starting to grow a little bit because Elon Musk lives down there now, and he has SpaceX there. But yeah, so my hometown is where SpaceX is now.
I did actually not know where the exact location of SpaceX was. So
when you think of Ratchet Dolls, just remember we're from where Elon Musk is now.
All right.
Yeah, so you have the richest man on the planet living in the poorest city in America. Think about it. It's crazy, right? But yeah,
that's quite ironic in a way.
Well, if you think about it, not to you know, go too far into it, but if you think about it, I think he did it because it is the poorest city in the country, and his money, you know, it's worth a lot more there. He can do whatever he wants. But I digress. When it comes to, you know, when we were first starting, we didn't have any money, and so we penny pinched for so long to be able to put together Damaged, and now I produce the albums myself now. And all of the music that you hear is just being produced from all the gear and all the knowledge that we've learned along the way. And so since we have the home studio, there's no excuse now. We don't need a lot of money, thankfully, because we do everything here. So hopefully we'll have new music coming out soon too.
That sounds great.
I told him the goal about the album a year before you joined in the call.
Oh yeah.
That's our personal goal. We want to produce a lot of music, kind of like Kiss did, or like an album a year.
Yeah.
And we want to just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess we can go a little bit further into that. What are the future plans for Ratchet Dolls right now?
Well, right now, we have a tour coming up this spring, a tour coming up this summer. I think I mentioned earlier we'd like to go abroad very soon this year, but I'm not going to say where, just for sake of keeping some things a surprise.
Sounds great.
Definitely a new album by the end of the year. And we also have a new music video in the works. I won't say for what song, but just keep an eye out for it because it'll be pretty soon. So we have a few things. We've got a lot of little things in the works. There's a lot of moving pieces, and we're trying so hard to make so many things happen. We can't say everything yet just because there's so much and we don't want to spoil anything. But man, we have a lot that we just are really working to get this year.
The new music video, is it going to be a song from the album, the new album, or is it going to be a brand new song that we haven't heard before?
No, it's going to be a part of the noise. It'll be a part of Bring the Noise.
Right.
I think it's going to be a good way for us to close that chapter and move on to a new album. The album isn't even a year old, and like I said, we're already working on the next one.
Awesome.
You know, so it's going to be fun. It's a really cool video. We had a lot of fun filming it. We filmed it in a studio here locally in San Antonio, and yeah, we had a lot of fun. We might even incorporate some footage from the tour that we did with Faster Pussycat. Who knows? Or maybe we'll save that idea for later. Who knows? But it's looking really, really cool. We also edit the videos here, by the way. We try to be very self-sufficient. We try our best to work on our own. If we have to pay somebody to help us out in anything, it's not going to be for design. It's not going to be for music production. It's not going to be for booking tours, although we have a network of people that do help us out with that. But we try to be reliant on ourselves. I went to school for design. I taught myself production. And thankfully, all of those are skills that musicians need these days to be able to be relevant. And so thankfully, I have that skill under my belt, you know, where we can just, you know, edit the videos ourselves. We worked with a couple of friends of ours to have it filmed, but they handed the footage over to us. And so The Enemy, Loud, 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 and this new video, it's all edited here at home.
Sounds awesome. And I just love that you guys keep the grind up and just go for it and try to push it as far as it just goes. I just love that.
Thank you. I mean, we're not afraid of trying new things and obstacles. You know, people could see the music industry as this crazy obstacle to maneuver around, but we don't see it that way. We see it as, you know what? We want something, let's just go get it. And if we fail, at least we tried. You get me?
Yeah.
But just because we fail at something doesn't mean we're not going to try it a different way until we finally get where we want to be. And that's the way that
there are lots of obstacles, actually.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a ton of obstacles, everything from lineup changes, management changes, label changes. And you learn from that. And we're not afraid to defend ourselves if we see something is not right. And that's what we've had to do in the past with managers and some label guys. Thankfully, now we're with a label from Australia called MR Records, and they seem to really, really care about us.
Awesome.
And so before signing this, actually, leading up to the signing, they were messaging us nonstop while we were on tour with Faster Pussycat. And then finally, Sophie and I were like, you know what? We should talk to them. You know, they seem to really, really like us, and they're trying to meet us. Let's schedule a meeting. And we met them, and now they're like our friends, you know, like, and that's the relationships we try to build with people.
Awesome. Yeah, I just love that, because like the label isn't the band. The band is the you guys are the band. So I love that you really want to go for that. That you are the ones that are gonna decide what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're going towards the end right now. Is there anything else that you want to shout out or talk about before we end?
Well, I said it to you before the interview started, but so everybody knows, thank you for having us. It means a lot to have somebody all the way from Sweden listening to a band from Texas and going as far as to interview us and hear about our story. So it's always a really nice feeling when people want to ask you questions, and it makes you feel like, maybe I'm doing something right. Maybe the
Definitely.
music thing is working out. People seem to care. So thanks for watching and listening to this interview, whoever's watching.
Yeah.
And to everyone watching, before we let you guys go, I mean, if you happen to see us on tour, come on out, join the show, be a part of it. Because just because it's Ratchet Dolls on stage doesn't mean that you guys aren't a part of the show. Every single person in the venue, we try to include everyone. And this spring, we'll be in the Midwest. We're going to hit a little bit of the West Coast as well. And then in the summer, we're going out again. But just to give you guys an idea, we're going to be all over Texas. We'll be in Arizona. We'll be in everywhere, man. We're gonna shoot for the stars, and who knows?
Just wait for the dates.
Yeah. We're about to announce them. I won't go and name every single city right now, but I guarantee you, we love to tour. And if you guys come out to the show, you just rest assured that you're going to be a part of the show. You're not just going to go watch a band. You'll be a part of it.
And we love to meet everybody afterwards. So we love to say hi to the people that take interest in our music, because it's nice to take pride when somebody cares about something you've created and they genuinely like it. And so we like to hear about it, what people think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you guys have something great going on, and I would just say keep the grind up and do what you do, because it's going to be great, I think.
Thank you so much.
If you have anything more that you would like to talk about later, we can always do another show. We actually have our concept that we call Tour Stories. That's where we invite the bands back to the show and have them tell stories about what happens on the road. It's going to be real stories about the real tours by real musicians. And it's just that, I think we mentioned that before. I think it was you, Sophie, that mentioned that it is tough sometimes to be on the road, but and we want to show that. We want to show the audience how much of hard work that goes into a tour, because the audience really only see what happens on the stage. They never see the grind that is behind the stage and the struggle of carrying gear around or anything like that.
Just let us know when. We have so much that we'd be happy to share.
Yeah, sounds great, and I think we're definitely gonna do that.
We have
maybe sometime to the end of the year when you have a launch date for the album, we can talk a little bit more about that or something like that.
There you go.
We'll keep in touch. Just let us know. We'd be happy to do it. We got to invite Ethan, our drummer, because he has a lot of stories.
Oh yeah, we have everything from hilarious stories, sad stories, stories that'll get you mad, stories that'll make you happy. We have everything.
Mostly hilarious.
Yeah, but we do have some hilarious stories.
I would imagine if you do 70 shows a year, there are gonna be some stories.
Yeah, man, everything.
There's some stories.
Yeah.
Even just thinking about them, man.
Just the reaction makes me want to record it straight away, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna leave it to the imagination for now. So I'm just gonna end it by saying thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute blast to have you guys on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Hope to do it again sometime, man.
Definitely.
Look forward.
So, if it sounds like you might like this band, do not hesitate to go and check them out. If it is not what you usually listen to, go and give them a chance anyway. You might find something new that you will enjoy. I find new kinds of bands and music all the time when we do this podcast. Most importantly, if you do like this band, make sure that you go and support them in ways that works for you. Easiest way to support them is to follow them on their social medias. It is very easy and it's completely free. Of course, I would like to encourage you to buy their music, obviously, as well. If you like what we are doing here on Metal Verbalizers podcast, bringing you new metal to enjoy, don't forget to follow us on our social medias as well. This way, you'll get updates on what bands we are going to verbalize next. Maybe you have a band in mind that you would like us to feature. Don't wait to tell us about them. We always take suggestions in consideration when we plan our episodes. Did I mention our YouTube channel? There we also have a video version of our tour stories. And all episodes in Season 4. You do not want to miss this. Thank you for listening. You've been listening to Metal Verbalizers podcast, Verbalizing Ratchet Dolls.